Hello, my name's Denny. This is my plant-based journey, and today I am stepping out of my comfort zone, and I hope that you'll go with me. You know, I'm going to make some lasagna this week, and that's not stepping out of my comfort zone. That's pretty easy. However, I am making vegan mozzarella cheese, and I'm making it with tofu. Can you believe that? Tofu. I would have never ever thought that I would open a package of tofu, and yet today I opened some organic tofu. That's an amazing thing. First time I've ever seen it in this shape in my life. In fact, outside of maybe miso soup and maybe at Chipotle, seeing their taco meat based tofu item that they use on their bowls and burritos. I don't know that I've ever looked at tofu outside of a vegan or whole food plant-based meetup. So this is my first time to ever work with it. It doesn't scare me because just like any other ingredient, you just follow the rules, you follow the instructions. You know, there are certain things that you do and certain things you don't do with food, and it's not that complicated. All right, so I'm going to make this recipe. Now, what I wanted to do was make something that I felt like would give me a reasonable chance at success. Most of the time, I don't follow recipes. Even if I share one, most of the time I'm just dumping stuff in based on what I think, what I feel, what my experience level says. I've cooked so much over the years that I just don't really worry about recipes or preciseness very much. You know, I know not to overpower it with certain things, and I know other things need more to bring out the flavor. So I just kind of guess most of the time. But I wanted to follow a really good recipe, or one that I felt like would give me a chance at success. So I went to the Simple Vegan blog, and I pulled up that recipe, and that's what I'm going to use. But I'm going to double it. I'm going to double the recipe. I know that's probably stupid. You should just make it the way it is the first time. But I want some more of this mozzarella so that I can use it in my lasagna. Now, I bought some of Miyoko's, her mozzarella in the little ball package that you can get at the store. I don't know if you have a Whole Foods. We do not. I bought some in San Antonio when I was traveling through there a couple of weeks ago. And then also we have a Natural Grocers that has it here. But I've tried a few of the different products from different companies on those vegan cheeses in the past, and it's not my thing. I've tried many of the fake products, meat products and things like that. I just don't like it. I like eating the plants, and that's my preference. But because I'm going to make lasagna, I thought, you know what? Let's try it with tofu mozzarella. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just eat it with the marinara and the vegetables and the noodle next time, and then it won't be that big a deal. But I wanted to try it, so that's what I'm going to do. It may blow up in my face. I've had many a recipe do that. I have fried things in the past and almost set the house on fire. I have burned things. I have burned things even in an Instant Pot. You know, I have an Instant Pot. You've seen that. I have 2 pots. One of them I bought from Amazon, and it's much thicker than the one that came with the Instant Pot. And if I cook something overnight in it, the bottom burns. If I cook something too long in it, the bottom burns. I don't know what it is about it, but I won't use that pot except for something simple and something that I'm going to use in the short term. So, you know, I make mistakes all the time, and if I mess up this tofu, you know what, I throw it away and I just go on making the lasagna how I want to. So the first thing you're supposed to do when you make a recipe is read the recipe. You want to make sure that you have all the ingredients. You want to make sure you have the right quantity of the ingredients. You want to make sure you have all the right equipment. You want to make sure whatever equipment you're going to use is functioning. All those things, you need to understand it through each step of the process before you make this product. Otherwise, you're going to get started and you're not going to have what you need. And so make sure that you understand that. You have to read the recipe. So let's just go through the recipe very quickly. I have everything already laid out. To start off, it says 3.5 ounces of firm tofu. I'm going to use a half of this block. This was a 14-ounce block. 3.5 and 3.5 is 7, at least where I went to school. And so I'm going to use half this block. Then it calls for a half a cup of unsweetened almond milk. So I have a cup of unsweetened almond milk because I'm doubling the recipe. 3 tablespoons of tapioca starch or flour. I have Red Hill tapioca flour, and this is 6 tablespoons because I'm doubling the recipe. 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, so I put 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. I have 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Half a teaspoon of salt, so I have 1 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. I used a half a teaspoon of garlic. So those are the ingredients. Now, the recipe itself, what it tells you to do is to blend all the ingredients until smooth. Then you pour this into a saucepan, cook it on medium-high heat, and you do that for about 5 to 10 minutes until it begins to thicken and firms up. It will come together in a ball, and then you transfer it to a bowl and you let it cool, and then you ball it up. You make little balls of mozzarella. You can make them whatever size you want. I'm probably going to skip that process because I'm just going to spread it out on my lasagna. But if you want to use some of it and then save some of it, then you take whatever balls that you have left and you put them in a brine, like in a plastic dish with a brine. And brine is just salt water. All right, or you could, there are actually all different ways you could make brine, but salt water or pickling spice or other things can be used for that. But I'm just gonna use this and we'll see what's left over, if anything. And let's make a lasagna. But let's start by making this super low fat vegan tofu, vegan tofu mozzarella. I'll spit it out in a minute. But this one doesn't have all the added fats or the other things that might make it creamier. It's just a very simple, easy recipe. It's super low calorie. So for the single recipe, it's 57 calories. For my double, it's 114 calories. So this is not something that's going to be detrimental to your health. But let's give it a try. Like I said, this is my first time to use tofu. It's my first time to use tapioca flour or tapioca starch. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's go. I'm going to use my Vitamix. I'm going to put about half of this. I already cut it. Whoops, some of the water is coming out. I cut it already so that I would have it divided up. I thought I poured off all that water. Sorry about the air conditioner, but you know, where I live it's very hot, and I've tried in the past doing the videos without the air conditioner running, and I just melt. And it's just, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. It's got to be on, and this air conditioner is so loud. I mean, it is so loud. But anyway, it's on. All right, we got our tofu. No smell. All right, I'm gonna put the lemon juice in. I'm gonna put the unsweetened almond milk in. I kind of want those liquid ingredients down there at the bottom. It will help this quite a bit. Then I'm gonna put in this tapioca flour. It said you can use starch or flour. This is really fine. It looks like cornstarch. It's got that kind of consistency to it. Then I have the nutritional yeast, and finally the garlic and the salt. Okay, I'll put that together. I'm going to put the lid on it. Cover your ears. I'm going to blend this, and we'll see how long it takes for it to get smooth. Let's give it a try. I'm gonna pulsate it first. All right, it's smooth. I stopped it a minute ago and smelled it, and looked at it, and it looks like a thick milk, and it smells like nutritional yeast, which has got to be a good thing, especially this sari that I'm using. Boy, that was a game changer, switching to that nutritional yeast. Oh, so much better than most of the stuff that I find in the grocery store here. All right, so I'm gonna go put this in a saucepan. I'm gonna heat it up for 5 to 10 minutes, constantly stirring so I don't burn it, and it's gonna thicken up and turn into a mozzarella cheese ball. All right, so let's do that. I'll be back with you in just a moment. I'm not gonna show you the kitchen, but I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. All right, I'm back. Well, it was really easy. When it came out of the blender, it was kind of like a melted milkshake, runny but thicker, kind of, you know, it wasn't like watery consistency, but it wasn't as thick as a shake would normally be, like a protein shake or whatever it was. But I put it in the stove, and within a minute or so, it started thickening pretty quick. I kept stirring it, and making sure that it didn't stick or burn on the bottom. It only took about 5 minutes. In fact, I was afraid to go much longer than that. It probably should. I mean, the recipe says 5 to 10 minutes, but it was already coming together. It looks like warm mozzarella. It is. It definitely needs to cool and harden, but you don't need to sit and watch it cool. So I thought I'd just show you what it looks like. And I have a couple of things to compare it to. So this is the Daiya Deliciously Dairy-Free Mozzarella Style Cutting Board Collection Shreds. And I know a lot of people on YouTube just rave about this. Man, it's not my thing, guys. It says it's filtered water, tapioca starch, coconut oil, expeller pressed canola oil and safflower oil, vegan natural flavors, whatever that is, chickpea protein, salt, potato protein, tricalcium phosphate, lactic acid, which it's vegan lactic acid, then some gum and extract and color and things along those lines. Now, I did a little experiment. I made a little flatbread pizza, and I put some of this on one side. And I didn't put a whole lot, just a little bit to see if it melted. It did melt, but it didn't melt like traditional cheese melts. And it didn't really have a whole lot of flavor. It wasn't horrible, but honestly, I don't think it added anything to the pizza. My preference is still just to eat the vegetables and the tomato sauce. It's just not my thing, guys. I'm hoping this will be a better alternative without all the oils and the additives and the preservatives. But I also bought Miyoko's, and like I said, I bought 2 or 3 things from Miyoko's, and I've tried 2 of them so far, and again, it's just not my thing. This one, I tore up the packaging. I had a hard time getting it open. But this is her cultured vegan mozzarella fresh, and it has hardened and dried, and I'm assuming this is going to look similar to the Miyoko's, and it's not quite the same as mozzarella, but it's similar. And so I put this on the other half. It did melt. It kind of made, I put little dots like this. I didn't want to put very much. So it did melt. It made a little circle there. And it didn't have a bad flavor, but again, to me, it just wasn't going to add a whole lot to the pizza. If you're somebody who just has to have the cheese and you just love it that much, I understand, and that's fine. I just wasn't big time impressed with it. And I'm not saying it's not a good product. I'm just saying for me, it's not my preference. And so let's see what this one, it doesn't have all the fats in it. It does have the tapioca flour or tapioca starch, which, by the way, worked just like cornstarch. If you've ever cooked with cornstarch, you have a hot liquid. Let's say you're making a stew. You've got your vegetables all cooking, and you've got your broth, and it's just a thin rich liquid, but it's not thick, and you want it to be thick, you take a little cold water, a little cornstarch, and you mix it up, and when it's that milky consistency, you add it to the hot liquids, the boiling liquids, and it will thicken that stew up and make it more of a stew base instead of a soup base. Well, this kind of works the same way. That tapioca starch, tapioca flour, it turned this into a solid form rather than that liquid. And so combine it with heat, which is what you need with starch, and now you have a thickening agent. And it looks good. I mean, it looks like, if you've ever made mozzarella for real, like, it's very similar. It's pretty amazing. But I'm gonna taste it. We'll see what it tastes like. I'm not really looking forward to this. But let's see what it tastes like. I can taste the little bit of the tofu, but the cornstarch is good. Man, I don't eat much salt, and that salt that it calls for is a little strong for me. It's a little salty. But, you know, since I've been doing this, every time I eat something, that's what I tell people. It's either too salty or too sweet. I don't know if your taste buds change like that, but mine did, for certain. It's not bad. I think this will be good on the lasagna. It doesn't taste like mozzarella cheese. And quite frankly, I probably shouldn't say this. In this warm condition, it's kind of like snot. This would work as slime for Halloween. Anyway, no, it's got to cool down, but it's not bad. You can taste that flavor. I mean, I don't think these are horrible. It's just not my thing, and this may not be my thing either. But I wanted to give it a try, and it came out pretty good. I'm not going to ball it up. I'm going to let it sit. Hopefully it'll cool down a little bit more, and then you're going to see it next when I make lasagna. In fact, I'm going to make it in a few minutes, but you'll see it in the next video. All right, my name's Denny. This is My Plant-Based Journey, and it's okay. We'll see. I want to wait and see what it looks like when we cook it up. But a vegan, oil-free, very low-fat, tofu-based mozzarella cheese. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. It's my first time with tapioca flour. My first time with the tofu. All right. It was super easy. Let me just repeat that again. This was super easy. I think I can flavor it up though. You know, I can put some diced jalapenos, and I can put some tomatoes, and I can put some cilantro, and we'll make it Southwest like it's supposed to be. All right, let's make an Italian dish, and we'll see how it comes out. You guys have a great day. My name's Denny. This is My Plant-Based Journey. And one last thing. You know what I keep forgetting to tell you to do? Please like and subscribe and click that bell icon so that you see all the videos and help me out. We are getting close to 2,000 people on this channel, and I would like to see that grow above 2,000. And I've got to get my watch time up because with the layoff, I lost all those hours from last year where people had been watching. So I need to make sure that we are doing what we can to help other people, but I also want to help this channel grow. So if you can share it with a friend and comment, you know, just let me know how you're doing. Just comment below. I'll try to answer all the questions and comments that I get. Although sometimes people post things that are inappropriate. If you have a YouTube channel, you probably understand. People will come and post a link to something that is filthy and vile, and I don't want any part of that. So if I see that, I delete it. And then there was one not too long ago, somebody was attacking veganism. And while I'm not a vegan, I'm a, I guess you'd say a dietary vegan. I don't want to be one who is eating animals or causing harm. I'm not the person either to go and and to tell people that everyone who eats animals is wrong. I just don't have that mindset. Now what I would rather do is try to help people to understand that eating plants is going to help their health. It sure is helping mine in a big way. So if I see things like that where somebody is attacking people, or they're using foul language and doing things along those lines, I'm going to cut that out of there. I'm just not going to keep it on the channel. But if you could help me out by liking and subscribing and sharing, it would make a big difference. I really appreciate it. Try this out. It's not bad. It is salty, but let's see how it works in some lasagna. We'll talk to you later. Again, for the third time, my name is Denny, and this is my plant-based journey. You guys have a great day.